Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Symbol of Truth issue 13. And what goes on in this cover does go on in here, and I did not really enjoy this issue, because this definitely just came off to me as an excuse to have Steve and Sam fight. It mainly gets down to the crux of why they're fighting. Steve acts out of character, so that way we get him fighting Sam, pretty much. And I just don't think it was really well done on that front. Like, the artwork worked, the action scenes worked, but the whole kind of premise for it was just like, Steve wouldn't do that. And it just kind of just takes up too much real estate in this whole thing with the Cold War going on, of just them fighting each other when we've got plot and important story stuff to go forward with. So we left off with them pretty much getting blown up by a bomb. We see Sharon trying to figure out what's going on with Misty. Sam's okay. Steve's just walking off as Sam's telling him to stop. Which, by the way, well, at least that artwork looks really kind of cool with the fucking dinosaur head. And Sam's just like, yeah, Misty needs our help. Sharon can hardly stand, and we barely survived this attack. Steve's like, oh, yeah, they're fine. They're sturdy and shit. And Sam's like, oh, we didn't stub our toes. We got hit with a bomb. And then, of course, Steve's like, Ian needs my help. So we've essentially got him going on the Ian needs my help front, and that's pretty much it. It's like, Steve would care about his allies. He wouldn't just do this. If he was going to go off and do and try and, like, help Ian, he would take care of his people first. And it's like, my son's over there, he's chained up, God knows where, I'm going to do this. We keep moving. Then, of course, Sam's like, you're not thinking straight. Pretty much because he's being forced not to think straight. Saying that it's, like, about this place, we need to take cover, regroup, get our people together, and he just keeps going. And it's like, okay, if it is this place doing this to him, we need it to be shown that it's doing it to him. And it doesn't need it to be shown more than even really told. And he's like, oh no. And then, of course, he flies up, and we start getting into the fighting of everything. Says that he needs to calm down to think his way through this. It's like, we don't even see Steve being emotionally upset. He's determined to go save his son. It's like, okay, if we see him, like, we need to be shown, or even, like, in this part, we're just being told that he needs to calm down and think this through. It's like, but we haven't been shown that he's, like, acting, well, we've been shown that he's been acting weird because Steve would help his allies. And, of course, he's saying that Bucky's using you, he just tried to blow us up, you can't accept the fact that maybe, just maybe, the guy who shot you through the chest and detonated a bomb at your feet is the bad guy here, and that nearly got us all killed. Now let's just... And of course, out of my way, as he punches at Sam, he's like, damn, that would have put a hole through my chest. And he barely batted an eye with Misty and Sharon. He's completely ready to abandon him. And he just nearly put a hole in my chest. What the hell did he and Ian go through here? It's like, you're trying to link that up, and it's not working for me. Could it work? Sure, but not really here. There's just the disconnect. I'm like, Steve wouldn't act like this. Sam would be able to talk to him better. I mean, we had Ian get through Sam with White Wolf in this series, no less. There's better ways. It's almost like they just wanted them fighting, and it's like, there's better ways to do that. Of course, going on with his PTSD, you can't punch your way out. We've got a mission. Talking about how time works here. We can't afford that. So we've essentially got a Peter situation from The Amazing Spider-Man, where Peter's like, I don't know how time works there, I gotta go save Mary Jane. But that was even executed more effectively than this one. And Sam's like, no, the mission is to stop Bucky and White Wolf from unleashing this place on the rest of the world, and half our team's out of commission right now, which makes that job a little bit tougher. I tried to reason with you, Sam, time's up. As he then tosses the shield at him. And then we pretty much get into the fight scene, saying you wouldn't know reason if it hit you in the face. Now, granted, we do get decent fighting scenes of them with their different kind of respective fighting styles with the shields, so I do give that. But it's just like, Steve's like, you of all people should know that I will never abandon my family. As he's Matt clangs. Now, granted, that's a pretty good page there. It's like, all right. They're saying, you of all people should know what it's like to lose family, who you're supposed to protect, your mother, your father. How many people have you loved and lost? How many people have we loved and lost? Think about your family. It's like, but Sharon and Misty are your family. Okay. And then we see him just like ka-chunk-a-thunk. Sam, and he crashes, and he's like, Ian's my family. I'm sorry, Sam. Think about my family? I think about my family every time I put on this suit, so don't you lecture me about my damn family. As he then pretty much goes to choke out Steve, which isn't something Sam would do. Well, not choke him out, but like punch him out. You think that I could trade this uniform to have my family back? I wouldn't. You think I wouldn't wish there was anything I could have done to save them? I watched Dad spend his last seconds sucking in air in a pool of his own blood. Mom was shot by bullets this shield could have blocked. I think about that fact every damn day. But this ain't about us. You put on the suit and you carry the shield. It ain't about you anymore. You can't go on like you're doing and call yourself Captain America. What did you say? You heard me. As they just keep fighting, it's like, I know people make fun of like Naruto for like talk no jutsu and like trying to talk your way through certain kind of things, but seriously, even though the action in this works on like a technical level, this fight shouldn't be going on. They should be talking to each other through this. Can that be boring to certain respects? Yes. However, that's only if it's handled and not executed well. I don't care how hard I gotta hit you, but I'm gonna knock some sense into you. It's like, alright. You were just gonna leave Misty, leave Sharon, walk straight into Bucky's trap. Maybe you can walk through that fire, but the rest of us gotta walk through it too. Maybe you survive it, but the rest of us get burnt. It's like, okay. I understand what you're trying to say, but this setup isn't working. I'm done getting burned. It's like, what about you fighting White Wolf and everything with Ian? I mean, you burnt like other people too. It's like, what the fuck? And Joaquin and all that. And then he says, I'm sorry, Steve, as he then flies back to Sharon and Misty. Misty, Sharon, you alright? Do we look? Where's Steve? As he's then just hanging his head. And it's like, whatever. And then we're in Zealandia, and somebody's saying that it's like, it's okay, and they have to go through this. You know how they are. One of them's my dad, and the other one's my partner. You don't have to tell me about how they are. Bucky or Revolution or whatever your name is now. Oh, and then like White was like, ooh, temper, boy. Black Widow put you back in your cage. I don't work for you, White Wolf. Why'd you let me out anyway? What's changed? Oh, I wanted you to watch. Watch what? And Bucky's like whispering to him, do you trust me? Watch both Captain Americas become food for my hounds, of course. Cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. It's like, okay. And he's like, Bucky, I hope you know what you're doing. Sharon, I did everything guys, whatever trap we walked into, I think it's still trapping. It's like, yeah, so it pretty much just showed that whole kind of fight was like, okay. Trap still on Sam. So we've got Sentinel of Liberty and then Cold War Omega. As we see this here, just when White Wolf thinks he's gained the upper hand, Sam Wilson and Steve Rogers rally under the banner of Captain America. Meanwhile, Black Widow and Peggy Carter clash over what it means to be a hero, and whether Bucky Barnes is still someone worth saving. It's like, okay. So, we'll see how that kind of goes. I did not like this issue. I don't mind pitting Steve and Sam against each other, but this was just like the flimsiest excuse just to get them to fight each other. And it just had them both acting out of character. Steve more so than Sam, but it was just like, oh god. And then we still got this stuff. Bucky, I think they're taking too long with Bucky to reveal his kind of plan or whatnot. Now granted, the audience doesn't need to know it, but it's kind of this tease that it almost reminds me of what was been going on in Amazing Spider-Man. It's like, what did Peter do? It's like, what's Bucky's plan? We don't really kind of get that or understand that at this moment, but we'll, I guess, see in like the Omega and maybe the finale or whatnot. We'll have to see how that kind of goes. But this has been my least favorite issue so far because it really put a hard stop momentum on the plot and just went with the spectacle of two Captain Americas fighting with the barest kind of excuse for it. That sucks. Now, granted, that's my opinion. If you enjoyed this issue, cool. Power to you. That's awesome. I don't want to take that away from you. But for me, this didn't really work. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.